Hey everyone, I'm Craven, and it's great to have you join me for another episode in our Unreal Engine 5 no-code VR authoring platform tutorial series. Today, we're going to dive into creating a unique custom environment from scratch. We'll be pulling together a lot of the skills we've learned in previous videos in the series, so if you haven't checked those out yet, now would be a great time to hit pause and go do that. Building environments can seem challenging, but Unreal Engine gives us the tools to easily create the most unique worlds we can imagine. In this video, I'll walk you through creating a cozy home environment for a future scenario. Once we're finished, I encourage you to experiment and create a basic environment of your own. Remember, every great world starts with a blockout. Here's what we'll cover in this episode: using pre-existing assets to build an environment, changing materials and decorating your level, using the modeling mode to create custom doors and windows, how to build your scene's lighting, and adding a NavMeshBounds into our scene. Alright, let's jump in and start building our environment. Let's get started. We'll begin by going to File, then clicking New Level, and selecting Basic Level. Once we're in the level, the first thing we are going to do is delete the existing player start. Now save the level by pressing Ctrl and S. Make sure to save it inside the Environments folder within the Scenario Creator folder. I'm going to name my level Level Driving Safety and then hit Save. Alright, let's build our foundation. We'll start by dragging in some walls. You can find all of these assets in the Fab folders. These are pre-made assets from various asset packs that you can use to decorate your scenes. I also have some collections down here. Collections are a great way to organize your assets. They're basically folders where you can store specific assets, and I've created a few with some assets for you to use in your scenes. Remember, every great level begins with a simple blockout. Let's keep adding a couple of walls to create the general shape of your environment. You can always rotate or scale the walls later to fit your needs, so don't worry about getting it perfect right now. Just focus on getting the basic shape. You can always refine and improve it as you continue to build it up. Right now I'm working on the front entranceway. I'm adding a small side closet here to make the space feel more functional, and I'm just making sure everything lines up and fits nicely together. I'm adding a new wall here. This one's going to be fun to work with once we start cutting into it using the modeling tools. For now, I'll just extend it out to shape the main apartment space. This length should work nicely. I'm going to keep extending this section and build out the opposite side wall. This area will become our living room, and we'll be splitting it in half to add a kitchen and dining space, so everything feels connected and flows together. Nice, this is really starting to come together. We'll use this setup with the left side as our kitchen and the right as the living room. This wall with the window helps create a more open, airy vibe across the space. Alright, let's take a look at modeling mode and use it to create a door. So first, let's go to our modes and select modeling. Next, we're going to select model on the left side and then find the polycut tool. I'm going to set my shape to a rectangle, drag the tool over to the wall, and rotate it to the proper direction. Pro tip: before you make your cut, it's a great idea to bring the actual door you plan to use into the scene. This way, you can use it as a reference to create the perfect cutout shape around it. Now that we have our door as a reference, let's use the polycut tool again to shape out our cutout. Let's go ahead and resize this. Try to align the lines cleanly, match up those corners, and dial in the right width. Adjust the height and width until it looks right. Perfect. Now we'll just shift the tool into position and line it up exactly how we want it. You might need to experiment a little to see what works best for your specific setup. I'll make my cutout slightly bigger than the door so I can add a door frame later. Once you have the shape you want, hit accept and then save. That's how you create a door. I'll add a door frame to mine to give it a smoother, more finished look. I'm just going to cycle through a few options here and pick the one that feels right. I think I'll go with this one. The edge detailing really stands out. Now I'm just adjusting the scale and opening up the doors to give them a more natural, welcoming look. I'll scale them down slightly and pull them in to get the proportions just right. Alright, time to add a front door. Let's scroll through a few options and see what stands out. That one's decent, but I think we can do better. There it is, that's the one. I'm going with this one. It's a great fit for an apartment front door. Now let's add a side door here to complete the closet setup. Make sure both doors are roughly the same height. That looks pretty close. Let's explore how we can change materials and further decorate our environment. I'm going to start by looking for some sofas in our content browser. I'll drag a few different options into the scene to get a feel for what I want. Now, if you're looking for furniture, head to the Fab folder and use the search bar at the top. Just type in sofa or couch and the assets should pop right up. You can also browse through the collections on the left to find them. Once they're in place, look at the details panel on the side. Under materials, you should be able to click the drop-down and see various textures you can choose from. Keep in mind that not all textures will look right when you apply them to a model. That's normal. Specific materials are designed for different objects, so play around and find one that fits nicely. I'll do the same for this other couch to find a matching material. I'm looking for a material that works well across all three couches, something that doesn't stretch or distort. I'm leaning toward a darker color to keep things cohesive. There we go, 3 nice dark couches for our living room. The main idea here is iteration. You want to play around with different options, see what works and what doesn't, and decide how you want everything to be laid out. It's all up to you. Keep experimenting. Try out different furniture pieces, tweak the layout, and shape the space into something that feels real, like a place you'd actually want to live in. I'm going to match this armchair to the same color as the sofas to keep things cohesive, then lighten up the wood base for a softer contrast. Let's also extend this window. Make it nice and wide to open up the room. Let's drop in a carpet, something cozy to anchor the space. There we go, a nice large one feels right. I'll go ahead and rotate it to line up with the layout. This coffee table's looking great. Let's lower it just a bit to get the proportions right. Let's duplicate these doors and bring in a few more to help the space feel larger, like it's part of a bigger environment. Now let's move on to designing our kitchen. On the right side, you can see I created a collection of kitchen cabinets in various shapes, sizes, and colors. Feel free to explore these or check out the Fab folder for more options. I'll grab a fridge, an oven, and a few cabinets to make it look like a nice, cozy kitchen. I'll add some overhanging cabinets too. Try to line up the cabinets as neatly as possible so they look connected and seamless. There's a wide variety of shapes and sizes available, so take a moment to find what fits best with your scene and your style. After that, we'll add some cabinets to tie everything together. Now let's add the oven. I'll make it a bit bigger to fit the space better.
And then add some cabinets in a bit closer beside it here.
That's running a little long. Let's scale it down. There we go, much better. Now I'll just tweak the size on a couple of these cabinets to get everything lined up nicely. I'll place some small props around to make the kitchen feel lived in. I'll also add a counter with a sink to tie it all together. Let's turn this into a cozy, closed-off kitchen space. I'll start by lining up the counter. There we go, that feels right. Now let's add a few finishing touches, like a coffee pot to bring some life into the scene. Adding small props can really help bring the environment to life and make it feel more inviting. Next, let's create some windows to bring light into the space. I'll grab one of the pre-existing walls that already has 2 window cutouts and adjust it to fit perfectly here. Our rooms are really starting to come together. I'll also add these double doors that lead to another mysterious room. Let's also frame out this doorway to add a bit of extra detail. Play around with the size and shape so it fits your cutout just right. To make our windows look more finished, I'll add some window frames. This might take a little trial and error, but you'll get it dialed in. Let's switch the material to match the wall color. I'm thinking a clean white works well here. Then we'll flip it around to get the orientation just right. I can just copy the frame from one window and paste it onto the other. And for a final touch, I'll add some curtains as well. Alright, let's grab a TV stand. Let's make sure the wood tones match the rest of the environment so everything feels consistent. Scroll through a few of these options and find one that blends well. We're aiming for a cohesive look across the whole space. Then, I'll add a TV right on top. Now let's take a look at our floor. We have tons of different options to choose from, various types of wood, stone, and even vinyl. When you have the floor selected, go to the Details panel, find the Materials section, and browse through the available textures to see what works best for your level. There are a lot of great options in there. There's a great variety of finishes to choose from. Light and dark hardwoods, matte tones, grays, even some lighter wood options. Take your time scrolling through and pick what best complements your scene. You can also change the materials of your walls. If you want a different color, a certain texture, or a specific look, you can adjust the materials to your liking. This is a great way to add more variety to your environment. I'm going to keep building out the environment and complete the scene. Now let's add a structural beam here and build out a small archway. Try lining up the walls again so everything feels clean and intentional. Try adding a few more props, experiment, and see what fits best with your scene. I'm going with this chair instead. I like the added touch of the pillows. I'll match their materials to the other ones so everything feels cohesive. Let's bring in a few side tables. Just head over to the Fab folder and search for Table or Side Table. Scroll through and see what catches your eye. There's no wrong choice here. It's all about what feels right for your space and your style. These side tables look great, really help anchor the space. I'll rotate the chair a bit to get a better feel for the layout and how everything flows. Thinking I might swap out these two couches to see if a different combo works better.
There we go.
I'll add a window here to brighten up the space. To do that, I'll go to my wall collection and add a wall that already has a window in it, then connect some walls beside it to make it look natural. Now we're just repeating the same steps we used earlier with the two windows to keep things consistent. Looks good. The key here is getting everything lined up just right, so the two walls connect naturally. Let's add a window frame to give it a clean, finished look. Just copy the one we used earlier to keep things consistent. Nice. That's coming together well. Let's add some blinds on top, scale them down a bit for a cleaner fit. This space is really starting to take shape. I'll trim off the end piece of the wall here, and now we're ready to build out the foyer. Let's place a small table here and add a few plants to bring some life into the space. Maybe we'll hang up some artwork too, just to give it a bit more personality. Actually, let's carry that idea through the whole environment, especially in the living room. We'll add some wall details to tie everything together. To make the scene feel more lively and personal, I'll add some artwork to the walls. It's a great idea to look at the other levels available in the Fab folder, as well as in the Scenario Creator, Environments folder for inspiration. Go through them and see if you like any of the layouts, or if there are specific assets or props you want to include in your own scene. Take inspiration from them to help you create something unique that fits your needs. I'm going to copy this clock, make it a bit bigger, and set it up in my environment. Then I'll grab this nice little chandelier and place it in the kitchen. I'll also add a dish towel over on the side here. I'll just move these little things around until everything is exactly how I like it. Putting the shelves over here, and adding the salt and microwave right there. Continue to further design your level to meet your vision. Alright, let's jump back into modeling mode to create another door. I'm not a fan of this current door, but I remember seeing a nice glass door on another level. I'll go ahead and look for it. Once I find it, I'm going to copy it and paste it into our scene, along with a few other assets I might want to bring over. When we're back on our level, I'm going to position the doors exactly where I want them. I'll also move this light out of the way. I liked it, so I brought it over too. I'll put these paintings on the wall. And then get rid of the old door. Now we need a new wall. I'll duplicate the existing one and put the new wall in the same spot. Now let's enter modeling mode again. We're going to use the Poly Cut tool to cut out a hole that's roughly the same shape as our glass door. This can be a bit tricky and may take some time to get the exact height and width right. Just be patient and keep adjusting until it looks correct. Use the height and width options to get the outline as close as you can to the shape of the door. You'll get it eventually. Keep building out the space by adding a bit more artwork. It helps the environment feel lived in and full of personality. We'll layer in some small details, maybe bring in a few light stands or lamps for the side tables. Scroll through the options and see which ones complement the scene best.
Add some bar stools.
Let's go ahead and add a roof to our environment. I'm borrowing one from another level and pasting it in, but you could also just create a cube if you prefer. I'll stretch it out to cover the space, just enough to get the overall shape in place. I'm setting up 2 long roof sections, one for each part of the house. I'll duplicate them and adjust the fit so they come together cleanly. Just like that. Now it's time to add the final decorative touches and bring the whole space to life. Let's layer in a few more details to round out the space. I'll start by adding a rug to the entranceway. It helps ground the area and adds a welcoming touch. Then we'll shift over and build out the dining room to give it a bit more presence. Let's bring in a table and a few chairs to start shaping the space. I'll match the wood tones so everything feels consistent. Then I'll grab a couple of chairs, rotate them into place, and arrange them around the table to complete the setup. I'm thinking a side table just outside these doors would add a nice touch, so I'll slim it down a bit and place it right there. I'm thinking a carpet by these back doors would help tie the space together. Let me scroll through a few options and see what works best. Yeah, this one feels right. I really like how it complements the rest of the scene. I'll go ahead and resize this. Yeah, that feels about right. I'm really liking this bookshelf, so I'm going to grab it from our main menu environment. Paste it into the scene, rotate it, and line it up right at the front entrance to anchor the space. Alright, let's talk about lighting, one of the most important steps in any Unreal project. To get started, head up to the Build tab and select Build Lighting Only. This will process your scene's lighting and help everything look polished and properly illuminated. This part might take a little while to load, so just let it run. Don't close the editor. You'll see a progress bar appear and another one down in the bottom right corner labeled Building Lighting. Just hang tight while it finishes up. Let that process run. Sometimes it takes a bit, so just give it time to complete. Once it hits 100% and everything loads in, go ahead and save your project. That's it. You're all set. Next, let's drop in a NavMeshBounds volume. This lets our character move through the environment, navigate around objects, and recognize where things are placed. Just head over to the Create button, type in NavMeshBounds, and add it to the scene. It'll pop right into place. Here's our invisible volume. Once selected, you'll see its outline appear. We're going to resize it so it fits neatly within the playable area, keeping everything nicely contained. This setup allows our character to recognize nearby objects, interact with collisions, and understand where they can and can't walk, essential for smooth movement. It also helps our AI characters navigate the space more intelligently. Up next, we're diving into the Scenario Creator, the heart of the no-code authoring platform. You'll take everything we've covered so far and bring it together into a fully built scenario. I'll guide you through the entire process step by step, from a blank slate to a complete experience. Can't wait to see you in the next video. Good luck, and I'll catch you there.